All right, and we're back with another edition of the Scotty Knows Show. We have, for the first time in, gosh, forever, it seems like, we have Chris Hull on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time since you've been on here, like
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, I don't think we were in lockdown still, but it's been a bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What have you been up to since the last time we had you on?
I don't know, just being a dad, chasing the kid around, and as she's growing and she's like driving and doing that kind of stuff now, and so that's
Oh God,
scary. And
she's
uh,
driving already.
yeah, well, she's doing driver's ed. Yeah, she's
Oh,
14.
okay.
So
Oh my God.
I bought her a stick shift car so she can't text and drive, dude. So not just a hat rack up there. Yeah, just doing that stuff and doing some coaching, and we had a good swim season, and then just working and doing some pheasant guiding and a little bit of fishing. The ice fishing season around here stunk. Otherwise, you and I would have done a podcast from the ice house. So,
Yeah, probably most definitely. Um, have you had any music gigs or anything?
um, Beeper, Brian Rounds, and I played on St. Patty's Day up the field house this weekend. On Saturday, we're playing up at the field house at the full band for the first time, and then summer gets busy. It's the phones are ringing and we're booking stuff, and but it's like, okay, we could do it every weekend, but then nobody gets to do anything like for themselves on the weekends. So, but yeah, so we're playing this weekend, and then got a bunch of stuff coming up, so
Yeah.
should be fun.
One thing I noticed is that I believe you have your own podcast now.
Yeah, I've got a one for Game Fish and Parks. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. What have you guys been kind of talking about?
So it's called the GFP Podcast and Blast, like kind of a takeoff on Cast and Blast, like going hunting and fishing in the same day kind of deal. I've done like 30 episodes. The last five I've covered kind of just like regional, like I get a hold of our regional fisheries managers and talk about, what lakes were good in the winter. Did we have any winter kill? What is the outlook on these lakes for the spring? Where are the fish biting now? Where do they go in the spring? Where do they go in the summer? What do they eat? That kind of stuff. And just basically, like, I know a lot of the answers to these questions because I hang out with these guys. But it's one of those things that, like, I look at it like I've got cool access to some really smart people who spend a lot of time in the field hunting, hunting and fishing fields, even though they're not hunting and fishing necessarily. But just like I think about it as like if I could sit down, if somebody else could sit down with one of these people and just at a cafe like the Hutch in Presho or something, and have a beer and ask them questions like what is EHD or what is CWD when it comes to deer, stuff like that, and try to keep it kind of non-sciency, but it gets fairly sciency at times. Because that's my job, is to take science and turn it into English so people can understand it. But yeah, it's just I try to keep it kind of light and more like conversational. And I always said, like, with a lot of these guys, the best podcast would get to be some of these guys and gals, because we've got some cool interviews that we've done with some female COs and other people and other gals. But it's like if I could sit down and have a beer, but it's like we can't really do that. So you try to keep it light, just like you do, and conversational, and it's a lot of fun. And the last ones, these fishing ones, have really kind of taken off. So
All right, all right. I see you're drinking your customary bush latte
bush lattes,
there.
yeah, that's
Um,
I think that's what keeps me alive, really.
yeah. The other night, because I've stopped drinking completely.
Right.
The other night I was at the new Tiger's Tap that just
Right
opened,
on.
and they had, for the now not non-alcoholic uh kinds, they had Bush NA.
Yeah.
That was delicious. I like
Yeah,
that.
my wife calls them bush nas, and so like we decide when we're going out on the boat, like who gets to drink Bush Light and who gets to drink Nas. And then, but yeah, we call them Nas, and yeah, they're good, dude. Especially
Oh
if you
yeah.
like red beers, a little tomato juice in there, maybe a pickle or something. Right uptown.
So we're gonna get to our topics before we get into our draft, which let's be real, we could probably have about 1,000 honorable mentions in our draft.
Right.
But first, I take it you've seen the Shoresy trailer.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's killing me. I want to see that so bad. I mean, it's one of those things, dude. And like if you like a franchise or really get invested with something, and then there's a spinoff, it's like, oh my god, I can't wait. But oh god, I hope they don't ruin it. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like Clerks is one of my favorite movies of all times. But then by the time they got to Mallrats, or Chasing Amy. I like Mallrats. So like Chasing Amy, it's like, man, they could have just left it alone. But I think
Yeah.
like with that crew, I don't think they would have done it if they didn't have at least a couple seasons of like really good material. And it looks like that locker room scene looks like it's shot so well compared to, just Letterkenny, but I'm sure they got the money in the backing now too. But yeah, I'm totally pumped for that.
Yeah, I believe that's coming sometime. I think.
24th of May in the States, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
without being a
on
total
Hulu.
fanboy. Yeah, on Hulu.
Um, by the way, if I seem a little distracted, of course it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's AEW Dynamite on my
Right.
TV right now.
Quite all right.
We got. Did you see what Kyrie was doing? Kyrie Irving was doing.
With the middle finger and stuff to the
Yes,
Celtics.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Um, totally okay with that.
Same here.
I'm totally okay. Like we want our athletes to be humans, right? And if you have never played sports and want it, and are claiming that you've never wanted to give the finger to the fans, but you knew something would happen, you're a friggin' liar, right? You want these people to be humans, right? To a certain extent, you don't want like the pitcher tackling a guy who hit a home run, like I saw in the Texas, like some junior college kid hit a home run and the pitcher just dehorned the kid coming around third. I mean, you don't want to do that, but I'm totally okay with that. If you want to be the heel, you want to be the villain, man, embrace it and do it. You're a flat earther already, for God's sakes. You flipping off the fans isn't shocking me. I
Yeah.
love Kevin Garnett, one of my favorite athletes in the entire world. He embraced that eventually. I hate Bill Laimbeer, but the only reason anybody talks about Bill Laimbeer is because he was one of the best heels of all times, right? I'm okay with, if you got good guys, you got to have bad guys. You want to run down Boston Garden? You think you're tough enough to flip everybody off and get out of there? Go for it, dude. Go for it. Love
You
it.
you'd very much appreciate the match that is happening right now on AEW Dynamite. It is in one corner, it is CM Punk, and in the other corner, it's the natural Dustin Rhodes.
Right. Totally. I mean, that's, you want to talk,
Ooh.
and wrestling is that wrestling lives on good guys and heels and heel turns. So yeah, I totally should be watching that. But
Yeah, it's fine. The what's your thoughts on the Timberwolves celebration?
I'm totally okay with that too, because here's why. Is it a play? Well, it comes down to this: was it a playoff game, or was it to get into the playoffs? Because my view was it's the way they have this rigged now or set up is that is a game to get into the playoffs, the
Yep.
real playoffs. The Twins did it in game 163 when a team in the MLB when they clinch. Now, granted, NBA they let in half the teams anyway, but it was a one game play in to get into the playoffs. Timberwolves franchise has sucked. They've won one playoff game since KG left. I'm totally okay with that too. And for the fan, for like Ant to jump up and be cheering and standing on the scores box and swear at the press conference. Again, we want our athletes to be more humans. I've won a league play-in game in softball and canned 3 beers and did the Stone Cold Steve Austin. Man, I get it. Like I want more of that kind of stuff. So I'm
That
totally
that
okay with it.
that was Patrick Beverly that did that. By
Yeah,
the way,
Patrick Beverly.
but
Sorry,
by the way, he has his own Bud Light can now. I don't
I
know if you
saw
saw
that.
that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Anthony Edwards, One of the things I discovered recently is that he has a dog, and his dog is named Anthony Edwards Jr. That's
Perfect.
awesome.
I'm totally okay with that.
That's
You got no kids?
awesome. I
Yeah,
love that.
that's my junior. But no, I mean, and for and I love some of these Minnesota sports writers, and Minnesota's a lot like other towns too. But some of these old guys for clucking their tongues and saying, act like you've been there before. One, none of those guys have been there before, really.
Uh,
And
um,
two is it's a play-in game.
yeah.
It has to be. You have to view it like that, and to celebrate. Oh my God, celebrate!
Well,
And if you're against chickens, glue your hand to the floor too. That adds to it.
well, Cat, he was a part of that team with Jimmy Butler. That was in the
Right,
playoffs 4 years ago. Patrick Beverly's always been in the playoffs,
right,
but this was against his old team in the Clippers.
right,
That's
right,
probably why he was so happy.
right.
Um, I don't know if you saw it on Friday, but did you hear about the case race for the yak?
I did. I watched it last night. I'd heard about it, and then I watched it last night as I was falling asleep.
What a
Legendary stuff.
Oh my god. It was chaos.
Eh, And there again, there again, you want your celebrities or your media people. I mean, we've all done that, right? I mean, I
Mm,
remember a case
mhm.
race where it was Brady Bearstops and Adam Birch and me and Kevin Tiger and a bunch of other young peer guys, Justin Trevish, and guys were falling down the stairs, and we were doing party ball races and that before we went out, and that's the kind of stuff. And for Big Cat to be, oh, I'm old and washed up, but then all of a sudden he shows that I can still do this a little bit. I'm going to get really drunk because probably not as good a practice, but yeah, that was great stuff. I was dying laughing, and I
Yeah.
finally, I was watching it in bed, and I got up and went downstairs because my wife was like, "What are you watching? You're laughing," because I had headphones on. And no, I mean, that's us, right? It's
It
relatable and funny as hell.
If you took a shot every time that Lil Sass said I'm the Joker baby, you'd probably be dead by now.
Right?
My favorite part of the entire thing was I don't remember what his name was. It was the Uber Eats driver
Oh,
coming up,
right.
and they gave him like $400.
Made the guy's day, right? Not
Yeah,
only was he like, "Hey, I'm on Barstool," I got $400.
and poor Dana just not saying
Yeah,
anything, not saying anything at all.
right.
Um, Debo Samuel wants to get traded from the San Francisco 49ers.
And now I'm going to ask you this because this shocked me. Came out of nowhere. In today's, especially NFL, you usually hear some grumblings and stuff,
Yeah,
like before you hear it from a player. Is that how that went down? Because it sure seemed like it was boom, Debo's saying, "I want out."
I
And nobody had reported it or not.
I mean I feel like it was kind of rumored a little bit. And then Debo talked to, I think it was Tom Pelissero, and he said, "Yeah, I want to. I've asked for a trade." I have no idea what the heck's going on in San Francisco,
So
because
he's not saying why either, right?
no, he's not. And it's like, that's happening. They're not sure if, what they're doing really at quarterback. Like I think they're going to start Trey Lance next year. They're going to somehow still have Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster though. So it's like, what? Why?
Oh, yeah. If you got two quarterbacks, you got none, right?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I don't know. And I think, I've seen enough of that of Trey Lance that he's certainly worth giving a shot to. But at the same time, Jimmy G was good enough and made enough plays at the right time to take them as far as they got. But yeah, this whole Debo thing, I mean, other than his name is Debo, so like I keep
Hmm.
going back to, next Friday and oh, it's Debo, that whole thing. Yeah, like it kind of came out of nowhere where I'm used to like the whole Vikings, Stephon Diggs, hell, even Moss, like, I'm going to complain. I hate it here. You guys suck. Somebody's got to trade me. I'm going to hold you totally hostage. Where this one just kind of came out of nowhere. And I don't know, unless he must have a problem with a coach or a quarterback and is just kind of trying to take the high road, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Um, did you watch any of the USFL this weekend by chance?
I watched just a little bit of it, kind of in between. We went from having no family here to having like 15 people here, like for Easter, and there was a panic, like oh God, look between my wife and I, so we had to do some serious house cleaning, and but I had it on a little bit, and I there's enough gimmicks and stuff where you probably have to do that.
Yeah.
I just hope there's enough talent to do it to cover it. So, like the scoring system, I was kind of scratching my head at a couple points, but
Yeah. It's like one point for, a regular extra point, 2 points
right,
for a 2-point conversion, and then I think 3 points if you want to try and
well,
convert from like the 10-yard line.
4th and 12 or something like that, or convert
Yeah.
from 12. Yeah, what the hell? Roll the dice. I just there's got to be enough room. And I'll ask you: is there enough room for more football?
The,
Is
there is, but the way that they're doing it is not good because right now they're playing all the games in Birmingham. Like, why even call a team the Pittsburgh Maulers or the Tampa Bay Bandits or anything if
right,
all of the games are going to be in Birmingham?
right.
You have to have all these games at different sites because
Yep,
otherwise everything looks the same.
right. And it's the same people, and there's no. Yeah, I mean, ultimately you have a team to root for because you relate to them in some way, whether it was you're from there or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I wish him luck. Is The Rock involved in that? Right?
No, that's the XFL.
XFL, right?
Yeah. The USFL, of course, they have Jeff Fisher as the coach of the Michigan Panthers. I
Oh,
love
right.
that. Um, uh, Davion Smith was a player for the Pittsburgh Maulers. He there's this whole thing online, like he
Yeah, the
got
pizza got cut for eating a pizza or ordering
yeah,
pizza
yeah,
or something.
yeah. He ordered a pizza, but like I guess the rule was he was supposed to order a chicken salad. That seems like chicken shit to me.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I have a feeling this is not going to last long at all.
No, and I didn't realize they were all playing them all in Birmingham either. That's weird.
Yeah.
But I did see something like that. Davion Smith was kind of like answering in the Twitterverse today, and keep my damn name out your damn mouth. You're lying about me and some of that stuff. So I was like, well, maybe this is how we survive: is just start fighting on social media, and it plays out like days of our lives on the field. I don't know. So
Yeah. This just came across the wire like maybe 20 minutes ago. It's expected that Villanova basketball coach Jay Wright is retiring.
hasn't he like retired, unretired, got fired, came back from the dead like
N-
before?
no, you're
Am I thinking
probably
of?
I think you're probably thinking someone else. But Jay Wright, honestly, one of the most successful coaches in college basketball,
Right.
went to I think a Final Four this weekend or this year. I think Villanova went to the Final Four and lost to
Yes, they did.
Kansas.
Yes, they did. They got beat by Kansas. Right.
Yep. And so it's like, you know, like I mean, go ahead and quit while you're ahead, I guess. But I mean, he won Villanova 2 national championships
Right.
in the span of like 3 years. So it was
Right.
like incredible.
Yeah, and he's 60. Dude looks like he's like 40.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Although he is getting a little bit more salt and peppery around the sides in his
Uh,
hair, but he's always been like one of the most well dressed coaches.
did he coach at Arizona too? Is that who
Uh,
am I thinking of the wrong guy?
no, you're probably thinking Lute Olson.
No. Hmm. Well,
Okay,
maybe he's got a side gig
yeah,
driving Uber or something.
yeah. Pardon my take is surmising that he's going to coach the Knicks because they interviewed him in
Oh,
2017. and he said, potentially that would probably be a place he would consider.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Guys like that, I mean, when you're driven and I mean, just the immediate rumor that Coach K would probably come back, I think those
Yeah.
guys are just driven to maybe do it at the next level, and they never do well retiring early,
Did you see? Did you see they gave him a puppy?
Yeah, that's a terrible gift, dude. Unless you know somebody wants a dog. I've got 3 dogs laying at my feet literally right now, and I've had people like try to give me puppies. And unless you're really ready for a puppy, that's one of the worst, meanest gifts of all time.
Well, apparently his dog died before the season started.
That's
So
even worse because my brother had an awesome dog that died about a year ago, and I keep going, dude, let me know when you're ready. You have to really be ready for another dog. Right? And they
yeah,
gave it to him on like national TV. Like, hey, here's
yeah.
this dog. You're like, yeah, I love this dog. I still love my other dog. You know? Yeah,
Uh,
that's you're gambling, you're rolling the dice there, man.
Today, of course, is April 20th. Feel free to celebrate that if you
Yeah,
if you want to. By the time this is airing, it's going to be April 21st. But a lot of people locally have a birthday. I know Gavin Irving and Brandon Hofteaser are two of them.
yeah,
But
man.
um, as far as famous birthdays, here's something for you. How old do you think George Takei is today? Captain
Man,
Sulu from Star Wars
right. From Star Trek,
or Star Trek.
he's got to be 80.
85.
Yeah, he's had some work done. He still looks pretty good though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now we get to our draft. It's it's our favorite 90s country music songs
Okay.
draft. So basically the rule is, one per artist so that, it doesn't turn into, a
Right.
podcast, that,
About
all
Garth
about
and George Strait.
Garth, George Strait, and Alan Jackson. Like, you know, it,
Right.
yeah. So
I'm with you. How many were you drafting? Are we doing it just
five.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
is going to make it a little bit harder. You have to have your five favorites.
All right. And
Uh,
I did some homework. I didn't write down any specific songs because I still wanted it to be a little bit like my brain's got to work. So if I make a
okay.
good band pick but a terrible song and then go, "Oh crap, I totally should have." That's just
Okay.
me. So,
Yeah. And when I say one pick per artist, I mean, if I pick a George Strait song, you can also pick one if you want to. But like
okay.
you can't like double up on the
Yeah, I
artist.
can't you can't do 5 Garth Brooks songs, right?
Yeah. So
Go ahead. You can
you want me to go first? Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
So my first overall pick, it was the first one I thought of. It's one of those songs that me and my one of my best friends, Wyatt, whenever we turn on the TV and we see that there's like a Conference USA football game on and
Right?
there's a certain team with a blue turf on the field, we're like, oh yeah, Pam Tillis. Maybe it was Memphis. That is my first overall pick.
See, but that's so brilliant that like just because it's not like a totally famous song, it doesn't mean a shitload to you because
Oh yeah.
you have those connections, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good pick.
Yeah. And there's something about like, the as it's building, the drum or whatever it is that's pounding on in the background, just like the constant build to like, the chorus, and then boom, the chorus hits and it's like, oh,
Right.
love it.
Yeah, she could belt. Yeah, she could really sing. Hmm. Yeah, you've got you got me. You just threw me a curveball, and now I'm like, wow. Um, I'm gonna go. Um, because I'm a sucker for sports songs, and Alabama might not have been the biggest
Ooh.
90s group, certainly the biggest late 80s ushering in like the Garth Brooks country. I put a lot of thought in this because I DJ'd country music in like 92, 93, 94. Alabama Cheap Seats,
Ooh. Okay.
because it's a lot of the same reason, played it, a lot of playing the amateur baseball, playing, and it's not even close to my favorite Alabama song,
Oh no.
but Alabama Cheap Seats is where I'm going
Yeah.
with my first one.
I would like to state that, when doing research, I was very just, I don't know if heartbroken's the right word or not, but I was like kind of crestfallen that my favorite Randy Travis song was from 1985.
I I would have probably let you get away with that. I got to meet one of my really good friends is good friends with Randy Travis, and that dude is legendary. So just about anything you would have thrown out, I would have probably
Yeah.
accepted. And you could have said, "Oh yeah, this is from 1990," and I would have been like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
No. Yeah. For a lot of these I wrote the year, but once I started getting, you know, to a certain point, I'm like, okay, there's too many songs to list by year.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
yeah, 1991 in particular was incredible. But which Pam Tillis, that was 1991. But um what's your second pick?
No, oh, I get to go again.
Yeah, it's a snake draft.
Um, ooh, I'm gonna go probably also like my. This is probably my. No, I'm not because I'm gonna steal one because I think I know what you're gonna do. Much too young to feel this damn old, Garth Brooks.
Oh, damn you.
My
Uh
favorite country music lyric of all time: worn out tape of Chris Ledoux, lonely women, and bad booze.
yep.
That, yeah, that's, yeah, he was such a game changer as the way people recorded and the way stuff sounded. And I remember that song and then remembering, like, who's Chris Ledoux? And then Chris Ledoux ended up being probably my second favorite country music artist ever because I met him several times and he was a freaking phenomenal dude. So,
Yeah.
but that and I wanted to steal that from you more than anything. So sorry.
Well, the thing is, I didn't even write it down. I
Oh,
like I was going through all the songs, and like I at one point I was like, all right, I'm just gonna just write down songs that I know
right.
instead of like going through the list, looking at like what songs I like and writing them down. So um number two, my number two overall pick. Um I'm gonna take you back to probably sometime in 1992, 93. The Dallas Cowboys were, a bit, just rolling. And this guy wore a Emmett Smith jersey in the music video. He's rolling around on a jet ski looking as happy as he can be. I'm going Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson.
Right on. I'll give you that one. That was he had some of the like some of those albums. It was just every freaking song. Like him and Garth could pull that off, right? It
Hmm.
was just every song was like a banger. So when you bought the disc, it was you listen to them and you're like, okay, Chattahoochee was on the getting major radio play, and by the time the next hit or next 10 hits came, you were sick. You and your buddies were sick of hearing it because you'd played that CD or tape or whatever like ad nauseum, and you were just tired of it, right?
Hmm.
For sure.
Um, yeah. My number three pick is kind of a I feel like this is another forgotten classic of sorts. I'm going with Like the Rain by Clint Black.
Right on.
I
Probably
just
country's first big super. couple even before McGraw and Faith Hill, right?
Yep.
And Lisa Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
That was a banger video too.
Oh yeah. Lisa Hartman, I saw her in a movie like a year or two ago from like the 80s. It was like I forget what it was called, but it was like, what is Lisa Hartman doing in this movie? It's
Right.
one of those like 80s sex comedies.
Right on.
I just
Yeah.
forget what it was
Was
called.
she in like? She wasn't on Dynasty. Wasn't she on one of those like kind of big TV shows though?
She she might have been.
I don't know. Keep thinking Falcon Crest, but I know that isn't right. So
Speaking of, I've been watching Northern Exposure. I freaking love that
I
show.
saw that. That's a great show, and
Oh my
it,
god, I love that.
and I laughed when you sent out a tweet about third episode and they're taking on suicide. I just totally remember like that happening in real life
Yeah.
when that episode came out. Everybody was, oh, that got a little heavy, right?
Yeah. It's like it's kind of like I don't remember what episode it was. It might have been the ninth episode or whatever. It was the first season of Golden Girls, and they had an episode where I think um there was like a shoot, like a Santa holding up holding up the bank or something like that all the girls were in. It's like, yeah, they they also went hard as hell.
Right.
um, what's your third pick?
Third pick, uh, guy who probably doesn't get as much credit as a songwriter or a singer, but had really good hair. Hal Ketchum, Small Town Saturday Night. One of my
Ooh,
favorite country songs of all time. Also from 1991.
okay, okay, and that's one of those like you know, I feel like that's a song that you know, but you have no idea who sings it, kind of
Right.
songs.
Yeah, that's and I've always I don't know that yeah, that was always one of my favorites. And I'm going back to back hair
Yep.
guys again. Also from 1991, Marty Stewart, I'm Tempted.
Ooh,
Going back to back, really good
wow.
hair picks.
Okay,
But yeah, I always liked Marty Stewart too, and he'd put on a show, man.
okay, okay. That's a good one too. Is that a cover?
Um, maybe.
Okay, because I
I don't
know
know.
that like you know, Clint Black did a cover of "Take It Easy," I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
There was a whole like Eagles cover album with like Clint
Yeah,
Black and Travis Tritt, and yeah, there was a whole bunch of it. I think that was like even a number one album. And the Eagles were not touring at the time and had this huge kind of renaissance because of that. That album certainly helped anyway.
yeah. Um, hmm. So I have my initial my big board here, and I'm like, hmm. You want my number four pick?
Yeah,
We're going back to 1991.
good year.
We're going with "Meet in the Middle" by Diamond Rio.
That's a good pick. That and I had like in my notes like Diamond Rio, Little Texas, Restless Heart, Shenandoah, Blackhawk, Confederate Railroad, like boy howdy, that like Diamond Rio was one of those like it wasn't a super group thing, but it was just like tons of that, like where maybe Alabama started dropping off. Like those bands kind of came in and said we can make that formula successful and have tons of good harmonies and good music. That's a good pick, dude.
Mm-hmm. And then to finish it off, oh boy, this is tough. This is really tough. You know, part of me wants to go, with kind of like a bop, like a little like country, like ooh, happy go lucky kind of country song. Part of me wants to go with a Garth song, but can I be honest? I'm not the biggest Garth Brooks fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's okay. I mean, everybody's, you've also heard it 1,000 times,
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my board. I have, you know, 3 solo artists and a band. I feel like I need a duo. I'm going Brand New Man by Brooks and Dunn.
That was on my list. I had it underlined. Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
If you look at the list of songs that Brooks and Dunn had back in the 90s, it is like a greatest hits of the 90s almost.
for sure. I saw them in 1993 at We Fest up in Detroit Lakes, and like wanted to hate them so bad. I don't know why. I was, like I said, I was kind of DJing country music and stuff at the time. And when I saw them play, I'm like, all right, yeah, they're killer. And like like Luke Combs did that, like that remix of that song, and he's even said, he goes, man, those guys are so legit, like they're so good. And so yeah, no, that's a great pick, dude.
Yeah. I forget what I was gonna say, but oh yes, that's what I was gonna say. So in I want to say it was like 2002 ish, which almost feels like the 90s, but isn't,
Right.
honestly. um, Me and my brother, we were out like plowing the field, doing whatever. We heard the song "Red Dirt Road" by Brooks and Dunn no less than 15 times while plowing this one field.
Right.
It was the same station. They played it like 3 times an hour. It was freaking ridiculous. I'm like, good God.
Yeah, and it wasn't like all request Thursday either, so they weren't playing the same song by request. It was just beating that song into the ground.
Yeah. Um, your final pick,
My
or
final pick.
you know what? Should we go 10?
Oof. Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay.
I'll try it. So I'm going Black Hawk because I've got to play open for them twice, and they were one of my favorite bands. Goodbye Says It All.
Ooh. I don't know if I
Love that.
know I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah. Um, and it could have been about any of them, but um,
Now
yeah,
was Blackhawk or was it Little Texas that had um like Phil Vassar in them in it?
I think that's little. Well, no, Blackhawk was the Outlaws. A couple of the guys from the
Okay.
Outlaws.
Okay. That reminds me I have to look up a song. Uh yeah, you can go ahead and go with your
Okay,
next pick.
man, it's you suck. Um, how about Mary Chapin Carpenter?
Ooh.
Uh, is it Saturday Night or is it Twist and Shout? I think it's Twist and Shout in
I think it's
parentheses.
yeah. Saturday night at the
Yeah,
Twist and Shout, kind of that one.
right.
Oh yeah. Um have you seen her in
Yes.
okay. Is she related to like the world famous Carpenters kind of?
I don't think so.
Okay. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Karen
Yeah.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Um God, what the hell is the name of that song that I was just thinking of? It just popped into my brain. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. All right. My sixth pick is going to be "This Kiss" by Faith Hill. Yeah, I'm going straight into 1999 there.
That's
I have to have a Faith Hill song. That's it. not It's Your Love or anything like that.
Right.
This Kiss transcended country music. So,
Yeah, I'm not even gonna like try to call you on it or say anything. I'm with you on that. It's
I'm trying to figure out
it
when
was a
this.
smoke show, and like it's interesting. Like when it's like I think I did 3 years of country music radio, and like we had a rule that there were so few like huge women country stars that you couldn't play woman country songs back to back because they wanted you to space them out.
Damn. The pick that I just remembered that I was gonna pick was from the year 2000. Damn it. I was gonna pick Just Another Day in Paradise by
Oh,
Phil
that's a good
Vassar,
one.
but
Right.
but I can't now. Ooh. My seventh pick is going to be it's my sister's and my brother-in-law's wedding song. It's Amazed by Lone Star.
I think yeah, was that a crossover hit then there too?
Yep.
Did somebody like
Yep.
right? Yeah, that's a good pick. No, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, it's my sister Brandy's um wedding song that
Right on.
her and my brother-in-law Nick danced to. And that's how I'm somewhat related to the Brackey family. So thank
I'm
you,
okay with
Lone
that.
Star. What's your
Um,
seventh and eighth picks?
Seventh pick, 1990. I had to go back and even look for this. 1990, Kentucky Headhunters, Dumas Walker.
Ooh, so that's the "Let's All Go" song.
Yep. And that's one that my buddies and I played ad nauseum. And one of the things when we got to open for him, I was just like, I try not to fanboy out. Um, but yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Okay,
And
and
God,
number eight.
now I'm torn. Um,
If only this was all '90s songs, you could choose "Torn" by Natalie and Brulia.
there you go. Um, Probably going. I don't really want to pick a Sawyer Brown song. I probably should, but
By the way, they are coming to Hawaii Days, so
I I know. And then, but I'm gonna be so they're playing in Deadwood Friday night. Then we're playing in Deadwood Saturday night on Main Street, and they're
oh
gonna be here. So
oh wow,
yeah, we're opening up for Terry Clark, I think, this
ooh,
year. Yeah, for Wild Bill Days. So and I
what's
can't find it, and I think it's an '80s song anyway, but I'm gonna go um Confederate Railroad, Queen of Memphis, which I
let
know
me,
is a '90s song, but I wanted to do one of their other ones or
we,
Pirates of
we
the Mississippi, but I know that's an '80s song. So
you said Queen of Memphis.
yeah,
All right, let me check this real quick.
I know that's a '90s song.
What's the Terry Clark song I know?
Uh there's a couple of them.
Yep, that's 1992.
Yeah,
Queen of Memphis
right.
is so. Yeah,
And
that's
that was just one of those ones that I DJ'd a bunch and like, yeah, I don't know, just one of those ones that stick in your brain, huh?
oh yeah. You said that was who again?
Confederate Railroad.
Okay, Confederate Railroad. Okay. Um, so my eighth pick. Ooh. Um, I feel like when I think of '90s country singers, This is one of the first I think of, and I feel like a lot of people don't think of him, but it's Clay Walker. And I'm torn between two songs, so I'm gonna pick the latter one. I'm gonna pick This Woman and This Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think, I mean, between like he had so many. Like there's too many to really
Right.
even name from the 90s. And then he had this weird like resurgence in like mid 2000s with that Mama Before She Was Mama song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That dude like would spray a pair of pants on.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Um yeah, yeah. Did you not expect a Clay Walker talking at all here?
Uh, no, we I remember playing that the hell was that song? What's that? I hear angels singing.
Mhm.
That one. Like
Telling
over and
me
over at
to
the
make my
right,
move.
right. At the
That,
radio station ad nauseum, right?
yeah. The other song I had on here, I mean, you could pick it. It doesn't sound like you will, but if I could make a living, that's the other song of his
Oh
that I
yeah.
had.
Right. Is
Yep.
that him?
Yep.
Hmm.
But my
Okay.
ninth pick, I'm gonna go a little. I don't know if this is outside the box, but it's Seminole Wind by John Anderson.
Oh, dude. That was on my list as one of my dark horses. That like yeah, he was yeah, he didn't have he wasn't a pretty boy and shit, but man, that voice is
Yeah.
that's a great song and Black Sheep of the Family is a freaking brilliant song. I love that song too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a good one.
And what's your
All right.
final two picks?
So, ninth pick, songwriter that has written a ton of big songs and was maybe only had one album, um, three first names, and it's one of those songs that like I've sang in pretty much every band that I've ever been in, but I still like. And it's David Lee Murphy, Dust on the Bottle.
Oh, oh man. Dang it.
1995. But
Dang it.
he's written so many big songs, dude. Like he's written a ton of big songs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's one that you'll see a lot of times on karaoke. Like people will do that on karaoke
Oh
all the
yeah.
time. What's your number 10?
Gosh, I don't know. How who am I leaving off, right?
I know.
They'll be
That's
so offended if I leave somebody off.
mhm.
Um hmm, I'm stuck. Um Maybe I'm going with, I think I am going to go with, I think it's On the Road by Leroy Parnell, which is a way oddball song.
Yeah.
Uh,
I, why
it-
does it feel like
Leroy,
Kenny Chesney covered that? I don't know why.
I don't know, but I don't know if that's a 90s song.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one way to check.
All right.
But in case you're wondering right now, some people are talking on the wrestling show. Um I don't know if the Bullet Club is coming to AEW or not, but
Really?
yeah, that's what it looks like. You said it was On the Road by who?
Leroy Parnell,
Okay.
Leeroyparnell.
That is a 1993 song.
There you go. Always love that song too. And he's a big time songwriter, written a ton of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
That's just another one of those that I remember DJing and like had never heard of it, and I played it a lot, even though that it wasn't on heavy rotation at the radio station. So
Well,
man,
wouldn't it be funny if he was somehow related to Chris Parnell?
it would be.
My final one, you know, yes, we don't have Garth, and weirdly enough, we're not gonna have Tim McGraw on this.
I know.
But we're gonna have George. I'm gonna go write this down.
That's fair enough. That's and you know, I like you said when we were before this, we could have 10 Garth and 10 George Strait songs on there, and I've got some friends that are going to crucify me for not putting George Strait on there, but it's
Yeah.
just, you know.
There's also one glaring omission that we don't have. We have no Shania for either of us.
Right.
But then again, I feel like she was more of a crossover pop artist.
Pop, right. Dixie Chicks in the late 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Cowboy,
is
Take Me
interesting.
Away.
You know, I was like I said, you know, DJing at the radio station, you weren't supposed to play two women artists back to back, but then in like 96 you had Shania, Leon Rhymes, Dina Carter, Mindy McCready, Jody Messina, Terry Clark, Dixie Chicks like the next year, you know, like so there was like this crazy resurgence or like kind of takeover by like this woman power stuff too in the late 90s. So
If I did pick a Shania song, the only one I have on here is "You're Still the One." That's the only Shania song that I think that I like. That and depending on my mood, whose bed have your boots been under?
right.
And the only reason why I like that song is because it was featured in the immortal 1997 blockbuster Twister.
Oh yeah.
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 Um.
I think my like I'm looking now like Sammy Kershaw I left off, probably shouldn't have, loved him.
Yeah.
No Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Oh.
Sawyer Brown, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Um, Most of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band songs that I really like are from the 80s, though.
Mhm.
So,
So here,
um,
is if it's all right with you, is all right if I go through some of my
yeah, go for it, dude.
all
Yeah.
right. Um, there are some Garth songs I do like. I'm not the biggest Garth fan, but there are some that I do like. One of those is Thunder Rolls.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Um, Love Me by Colin Ray. One of the most depressing songs ever.
Colin Ray had some bangers, and a lot of them were depressing. Like Little
Yeah.
Rock. Think I'm on
Yeah.
a roll in Little Rock. You're like, hey, good job. Oh, but you want to kill yourself?
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
On Neon Moon, obviously, Brooks and Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn.
Strawberry Wine, Deanna Carter.
I had that one down.
If the World Had a Front Porch by Tracy Lawrence.
Tracy Lawrence. I always got Tracy Lawrence and Tracy Bird like confused, but
Yeah.
If the World Had a Front Porch is a good song.
A whole bunch of George Strait songs that we don't need to mention, but Don't Take the Girl by Tim McGraw was my Tim McGraw pick if I did pick a Tim McGraw song.
Tim McGraw is now an inside joke at the Hull family because last Easter weekend we were watching The Blind Side. My daughter had never watched that, and Tim McGraw is the dad on that show, right? And we're watching it, and I started singing the oh cripes. When you think Tim McGraw,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, and I was singing it in like this baby voice, and Melissa looked at me and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "Tim McGraw," and that's not Tim McGraw. Get out of here. Yeah, that's Tim McGraw. Was that before like he got famous? I said, no, this movie's from 2009, so he'd been famous for a long. This is after, right? This is so yeah.
Would she know? Would she know that he's in 1883? I feel like that's obvious. She wouldn't know that.
I don't think so.
He's also the dad of the fullback in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. But she doesn't watch much of that stuff. But yeah, so that's Tim McGraw is now like the inside joke for the last week with the family.
My Maria by Brooks and Dunn, another
Ooh,
great song.
so that
That is a
song,
cover, isn't it?
yes, but that version of that song is on so many lists. If you go and look at, the greatest country songs of the last 30 years or whatever, that version of that song is on so many freaking lists, dude, and that is a good song.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the Amazing Rhythm Aces or who did that song originally. And I'm sure my bass player Lonnie Schumacher's rolling his eyes if he's listening to this. But no Chris Ledoux on there for me.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad.
No Kenny Chesney for either of us.
He didn't come around until like 98, 99.
96 about is when
Really?
yeah.
Okay. But I don't know. It just
Like,
wasn't my deal. No Travis Tritt.
oh fuck yeah. She Got It All by Kenny Chesney was on my list. I'm in a Hurry by Alabama was on
That
my list.
We played that one. That was probably my number 3 of Alabama songs that I was going to put on there on my deal. But Cheap Seats is still
And
probably the
then
one that I laugh about most.
and then my final honorable mention, if he didn't release a song, who knows if we would even know his name, honestly. It's He Didn't Have to Be by Brad Paisley.
Right.
That was his first
Right.
massive hit. And like if he didn't have that, I mean that changed things for Brad Paisley.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And that was that like 98?
99.
99.
Yeah.
One other big omission, Vince Gill.
Yep. Go Rest High on That Mountain.
Right. And one of those guys that just, and even like probably a little bit of a forerunner to Brad Paisley, like Vince Gill's an unbelievable guitar player.
Yeah.
And obviously can sing like a bird, but had more of that Christian, kind of background, but just that guitar playing just took him so far. And
I,
yeah, that was
I
another one. I was like, oh shit, no Vince Gill.
I don't know if he was just a studio musician or what it was, but I think Vince Gill was part of Pure Prairie League at one point, wasn't he?
He was, and I think he did some studio stuff for like even the Eagles and shit too. Like he's been all over, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he can really play. Yeah.
A part of me would have wanted to put. I didn't write this down, but I remember this song very distinctly because the week after me and my parents went to Monday Night Nitro in Sioux Falls, they went to Boise, and they had a guy who was an enhancement talent for them sing a song and perform a song. You might remember him. The name is Chad Brock, and it was the song "Yes."
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said yes, and I
Yeah.
said wow. That
Wow.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Huh.
That was a '90s song that, like, again, like I said, we could go on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
But
Yeah. Nah, good stuff. I mean, am I going to say I'm 100% happy with my list? No, but
no,
my
yeah,
picks I can defend them all
oh yeah.
vehemently.
And I'm probably going to um put like I don't know if I'm gonna put a graphic or just put like a listing and see if who people think had the better list
Yeah,
or
man.
not. But yeah.
I'm
But
used to people hacking on my musical choices. Believe me, my wife especially. So.
yeah, I notice I'm a little poppy in my country listening, but eh,
But it's also, that 90s when country really exploded, it's not poppy like it is now, but it's certainly, if you go into even the late 80s, you had Conway Twitty, Ronnie Millsap, Keith Whitley, Eddie Rabbitt, Don Williams, Waylon Willie, Ann Murray, Eddie Raven, T. Graham Brown, Paul Overstreet. Those are the people that were on the charts in, as late as 88, 89. And then
yeah.
when Garth came and like changed that sound to more of that pop, all of a sudden there was country music radio stations everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before you maybe heard one or, you had one or two. and it was Eddie Rabbit and Waylon and Willie and some of that stuff. But man, that pop country just with that explosion, that's what you grew up listening to, and that's by the time I was in high school, that was dominant every bit as much as hair metal or Nirvana. I mean, hell, insistent we were listening to Nitty Gritty ad nauseum, and some of these other albums too. So
Yeah. I know it's not necessarily 90s, might be early 2000s, but remember Daisy?
oh yeah,
What happened to them? Where did they go?
who knows? They probably lost their good writer buddies and didn't have any good music anymore, right? I mean,
Yeah, I guess they said their little goodbyes.
right.
That feels like a good point to stop, but stay on for the post show. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I think the biggest thing is once spring is out, don't forget to go outside and just kind of recollect and remember why we live in South Dakota. Go out and stand along the shore and fish a little bit or bird watch. I got two cardinals in my neighborhood, which is awesome. I've never had them in our
Really?
neighborhood. And they were singing, and I thought they were, and I got this Merlin bird app, and then I was like totally nerding out and like recorded them, and then it was like, yes, it's a northern cardinal, and that's the male cardinal. So, but now
Yeah,
just get outside, like this is why we live here. As soon as it gets a little bit nicer and the trees start blooming a little bit and the wind doesn't blow 90 miles an hour up your skirt for 8 days in a row, but just go out, fish from shore for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be all day, or bird watch, or go out and watch a high school baseball game or a boys tennis match or something, and just kind of calm down everybody. I mean, everybody's so wound up that everybody
yeah,
needs to calm down a little bit, I guess.
yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a ton of fun.